to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Premier just hates me sometimes. I don't know.
Premier's mean.
You gotta love technology, right?
Lord.
Oh, man. So, yes, should we just address this off the top?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to thank everybody who sent in questions for a 100th episode celebration. The issue is, of course it is, it's a technology issue.
What else would it be?
So that's why we haven't gotten the episode out in full. So what we're going to have to do is I'm going to chop it up into segments for a couple questions, maybe each per clip, and put it out over this next week for y'all, so y'all can still get your questions answered, and we can celebrate that way. I'll put it in a playlist, and we're going to have fun like that.
Sounds
So
good.
I still want to thank everybody for, just sticking around to hear us rant and be stupid for over 100 episodes now.
Yeah.
Because that was like, I don't know, hitting 100 just feels like really special, right?
Yeah, it feels like the next step,
Because I know when Jeremy and Laura hit 150, we were blown away by that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's once 150 happens for us too, it's gonna be like, wait a minute.
Right.
Meanwhile, we'll just keep chugging along, right?
Absolutely.
But first, so we got Kepis, we got actual topics to get through, and we're actually gonna breeze through this today because episode 100, with it being as meaty as it was and as long as it was, that's why we got to do it as a playlist, because the full episode was 2 hours.
Right. It was a long one.
I mean, I expected that because we just shot the shit and
Yeah.
Answered questions and made it fun. We made it special. So that's why that one's a long one. This one's going to be a lot shorter. So let's keep the ball rolling with this one with Kepi Keepers by DraftKings Sportsbook. We're still talking hoops for one more episode. We are finally switching up next week.
Now, are we going from hoops to college hoops?
I don't know.
I would have to imagine with March Madness coming up that's going to be the case because
we'll find out on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, of course.
We'll find out on Wednesday, but we're still talking the NBA. And with an official sports betting partner of the NBA, DraftKings Sportsbook, this week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every single day. You go to the app today, you opt in, you place your same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you get the free bet right back. You guys know the drill. We've been doing this for weeks.
Yeah. And I've been doing it IRL for weeks because I love having those no sweat bets.
Yeah.
It gives me the freedom to put down a bet knowing that I can lose it twice.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about same game parlays and the no sweat offer.
Yeah, so what's funny is 3 days ago I used my no sweat bet on the Cavs Heat game.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on the Heat to win. Obviously, the Cavs won. And since I got it back, I put it again on the Heat to win because the Cavs had 2 games against Miami down in Miami.
Yeah.
And the Heat did win. So, that nice second chance won me some money. And, hey, the Cavs at least got a split. And
nice.
I also won another bet on Isaac Okoro threes in the game last night. So,
love it.
Money is nice.
Oh, yeah. Money's always nice. And it's it's fun when you get, because I don't know, we don't really talk about the promo itself often. We just talk about the scheduling and whatever.
Yeah.
What's I don't know what's coming up that you could do that for.
Well,
because you're the basketball guy.
I mean, if you're looking for a game to bet on tonight, there's 2 games I have in mind. They're the later games. There's an 8:30 game on ABC That's Bucks Warriors. The Warriors are favored by 1.5 because they're at home. I would heavily consider betting on the Bucks because they're really good.
I mean, there is this friggin' Giannis kid that I think he's all right. I think he's
the other one that I'm interested in is Kings Suns. It's a home game for the Suns. They're favored by 4.5, but the Kings have a better record, and the Suns will not have Kevin Durant.
Right, I heard about that.
So, I don't know if the Kings are sitting anybody because that might be a factor into that number right there. But the Kings are one of the hottest teams in basketball. I think they're the 2 seed now in the West, which is like one of the coolest stories because they haven't made the playoffs since 2006.
I was gonna say, yeah, Sacramento has been like a punching bag in the NBA for like a long time now,
forever. So it's really cool, and I'm happy for the fan base because if you've watched any like highlights of the Kings this year at their home games, like crowds are nuts there. So it's awesome.
Well, it's funny, like, speaking of those kinds of markets, like Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
Like, just think about the non-traditional markets that work in basketball that, you don't see in like hockey or baseball, like a Sacramento or a Charlotte.
100%, because you can make an argument that it's the 4th best in their own state, and there's 4 teams there because like I'll hear maybe an argument about the Clippers because it's tough to share that city with the Lakers.
It's tough to share that arena with the Lakers.
Yes. like obviously Lakers 1, Warriors 2. I'll hear an argument for Kings maybe being 3 over the Clippers, but I think they're probably 4. But it's cool to see the first time that they've been good in forever, and the fans are responding with just a ton of passion, which is always great to see in sports.
Yeah, and get some passion in your wallet.
Yeah.
With DraftKings Sportsbook, download the app now, sign up with the code THPN. New customers bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code THPN. All of our stuff down below, as usual, disclaimers, age, eligibility, all that fun stuff. All right, so Kepis. This is, I don't know. It's funny because they're on the losing streak that they're on, and it's the thing that's just happening.
Streak. Is it just this entire season?
Yeah, this whole season is just like burn it to the ground. But I'm gonna give it to Patty Line because he's probably one of the only ones to show up in these last like 3 games. He scored in all 3.
Yeah, he has.
So, I mean, when you're only getting, 2 to 3 goals against teams like Seattle and Ottawa, and then you blow a 4-0 lead in Pittsburgh.
We'll get to that in a second.
It's just the storyline with that. I'm so.
My answer.
Yeah, who's yours?
Really gonna make you laugh.
Is it really? Of course it is.
I'm going to give it to the 3rd star of the game with a goal and an assist. A +2 on the night.
Yeah.
It's Liam Foudy.
Yeah, Liam!
He was pretty great in the game. Like, all things aside about the end result, it certainly wasn't his fault. It certainly wasn't Emil Bemstrom's fault, who also had a goal and an assist. Kent Johnson had 2 assists. Cole had an assist.
Lane Peterson, dude?
Lane Peterson had a goal. Like, I mean, that their 4th line, that was the 4th line, was Foudy, Peterson, and Bemstrom. And it was the best line, and it wasn't close. It just so funny how that happened, and dude, just want to get into the game.
Patrick and Liam getting cappies, that makes total sense. If I'm being like, I don't know, because it's funny because we had so much over the topic of Liam Foudy over this last like few months. right? This whole season.
It's been such a hilarious driving point on this podcast where it's like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing I'll say. Like, I understand their decision to not send him down because
Right.
they didn't want to lose him. And now that he finally got that monkey off his back in his first goal, like, I feel like he's played better since. I still don't think he's anything more than a bottom six guy, but
Right.
at least he's you can see that there's a little bit there
He's
that
like,
you didn't see for the first 60 games.
good Lord. Yeah, so let's talk about just Liam for a second about this, right? So the whole progression with Liam Foodie over the course of the season was like, we're ready for this kid. He was an 18th overall pick in
They're like,
2018.
we
Like,
just want to see him freaking play.
we just
And
want to
then
see him
after
play.
40 games, we were like, we don't need to see him play anymore.
Yeah. And now he's a goal suck, and it's just like,
Yeah,
where's
he
all this?
scores his first NHL goal, like just kind of jamming at someone's pad, and the puck just kind of goes into the net. And ever since, he's played pretty fine. Like,
He's making plays. He's like doing things, and we're
I
like,
don't want to, God, I don't want to like over exaggerate how he's been fine.
but that's the thing is like
He's been
finally,
watchable.
he's been doing things, and it's like,
been
where
effective.
was this?
Like I said, I still don't think he's anything more than a bottom six guy. But at least my impression has changed from he's not an NHL player to maybe he could be, but it's like a bottom six role.
That's what I'm saying though, is like, where was this? God,
if he really puts his effort into it and just continues working on his craft, I think he could be as effective as Brendan Gaunce.
Honestly, you got a point. Like, geez.
I'm being entirely sarcastic. I think he's a little bit more talented than that, but
No, but still, like, you have a point with that. Like
I don't want to just like we're not being too like rash on it. I just think these last couple of weeks have shown that okay, he might be an NHL player.
he's got the talent to like at least be a decent third liner.
I mean, we know he's got the talent. He's the 18th overall pick.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it isn't just evaluating talent. Sometimes it's fit. Sometimes it's development.
Sometimes it's line mates.
Line mates.
Coaching systems. Brad.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes into fit, but yeah, definitely. So, I don't know. I mean, he has at least done enough in these last couple of weeks to where I don't want them just to put him on waivers to lose him anymore.
Right.
Maybe take him into next season as a part of the roster and just see what happens, I guess. Because he's already extended, I think. He's under contract for like less than 800,000. So like
that's fine.
That's not making anything. It's not like that's an issue.
And you can bury that if you need to send him down again.
Yeah, I mean, if he comes back next season and looks how he did in the first 50 games this season, then yeah, I mean, you can easily bury that in the minors or lose him to waivers. But he has at least done enough lately to make me say, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing him next year.
Yeah, and this is a what have you done for me lately league, right? So he's actually done stuff lately, which is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Pittsburgh game, we don't really need to get into Seattle other than, God, it was just so nice seeing Oliver again. I miss him so much.
Did we even talk about the Seattle game last podcast? I thought we did.
We like briefly mentioned it here and there.
I don't think we need to talk about it. I mean,
no,
that happened.
And I still miss Oliver. It's funny. The like around that same time was like I want to say 6-year anniversary of when I actually got to meet him post game.
Yeah,
and that was great. And God, I miss him so much. And it's just, I don't know. I want to do that where I go to a home game against Seattle and I wear my Bjorkstrand Jackets jersey and the Seattle hat
Yeah.
just to be like, yeah. Ottawa was Ottawa. That was like, I don't know. We don't really need to talk about that one as much because it's just like it's, it's Ottawa. As much as I don't know, I don't want to be like chirpy against like because I have friends that are Sens fans on Discord and stuff, but we're kind of fighting for the same thing here, draft position at this point. Like,
Ottawa?
I mean, like Ottawa's a little more like way more in the
Oh.
hunt than we are, but
Yeah, Ottawa's like so right now they're at 70 points.
Mhm.
They are only 6 points behind the Islanders with 3 games at hand. If they were to win their next 3 games, they're in a playoff spot.
Maybe I'm just so jaded from how the last few years what the Sens have been, and
Yeah,
just like
like they're
waiting for, you
they're
know, like
legitimately like I think
I'm
that
not.
they could actually make a run here.
That's the thing is I'm not used to them being like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like Stu is great, Cat's great. I love Claude Giroux too, and Kachuk is like their perfect captain, right?
Oh, and they went out and they got Jacob Chikrin.
They got Jacob Chikrin. Like what?
Who has apparently the weirdest diet ever.
His diet?
Yeah, I saw something about that on Twitter. Like he eats like a shitload of liver.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about
Just like-
that, huh?
Yeah. Kind of a strange thing.
Okay, so Pittsburgh.
Yes. Yeah, this is what we want to talk about. This
Yes.
is the real meat and potatoes of the podcast. People want to hear us talk about Pittsburgh.
We got outshot by 20.
Which I'm not upset about. I expected that.
That's Pittsburgh for you. Yeah, like they have Jake
That's
Gensel,
how
they have
that's how
Simmons.
a Pittsburgh Penguins versus this year's Columbus Blue Jackets game should go.
Yes. What shouldn't happen, well, I don't know if I should say shouldn't, but blowing a 4-0 lead.
Here's the thing about the Pittsburgh game, okay? And I want to make sure that Blue Jackets fans are as totally honest as possible about this.
Let me just run through the goals really quick before you get to that. Just
zip through them as fast as you can.
Bemstrom from Sillinger and KJ. I like that. That's nice. Lane Peterson getting his second goal of the season, apparently, assisted by Foods, which is just the funniest thing in the world.
Next.
We love that. Patty Laine, 20th goal of the season from Roslovic and KJ. And then the second period was Foodie, third goal of the season from Bemstrom. And then the collapse starts happening.
Yep, the Penguins pull Tristan Jarry and they put in noted Blue Jacket killer Casey DeSmith.
Casey DeSmith, like cool. Jason Zucker's 20th from Geno Malkin and Alex Nylander.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third period starts with Gensel making it 4-2. We kind of figured that was coming because Jake Gensel loves scoring against us.
Yep.
That was from Crosby and Raquel. And then we got Jason Zucker again from Gino. Again. Danton Heinen scores to tie it from Raquel and Sid. And then Sid wins it from an assist from Gino in overtime.
So, real quick stat for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Casey DeSmith in 5 games in his career against the Blue Jackets is 4-0-0 with a 225 goals against average and a 934 save percentage.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. Like to me, I've heard like a lot of Penguins fans saying that Tristan Jarry doesn't look like he's 100%.
Right.
I feel like it was just a bad call from the get-go, not starting the dude who prior to that
is perfect. Like,
against the Blue Jackets. That seems like the perfect game to start that guy.
Yeah.
But here's what I will say about this, okay? Because everybody, including myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we make the joke about like, oh, thank God we lost the game, you know, because
yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
But what have I said on multiple occasions
We
during this podcast.
need a win in Pittsburgh.
It's not even where I was going to go with that.
Ugh.
Where I was going to go with it is the rest of the season. If you're going to win. If you're going to lose, though, lose.
Regulation,
in
please.
overtime legitimately hurts you.
Yeah, regulation.
So think about
please.
all the different elements of this, okay? First of all, you don't want to get points because you kind of want a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Not only just for a 25% chance at Bedard, but just to ensure that you're getting a top center.
Yes.
Second, if you're gonna win, this would be a perfect time to do it because you haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2015.
2015, guys.
So let's think about this. Okay, so first strike, you lose the game in overtime.
Yeah, so you
don't
gain a
get a point.
point.
So you lose again in Pittsburgh. You gain a point. You blow a 4-0 lead to do it.
Oh,
Like, I know that this team is bad and they're not going anywhere this season, but that's a win. Like, you win that game 4-2 or 5-2 or something like that. Like, God, that can help out so much just to get rid of that feeling.
just get the monkey off your back, right?
You haven't won there forever. You know, it would be a nice silver lining, just something to at least be somewhat happy about this season that they finally get that over with. So you blow a 4-0 lead. You go to it's not like the Penguins tied that game with like 30 seconds left, and that's why you went to overtime. They
Right.
tied it with like 16 minutes left. So if you're gonna blow a 4-0 lead and lose the game, could you have done it in regulation?
God, man. Like,
I mean, good Lord. It just, all elements of it sucked.
if you're going to blow it in regulation, run Goodbranson out there for a full half an hour. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like, and I feel for Michael Hutchinson. He comes into a
yeah,
terrible
poor
position
Hutch.
because,
Which,
Elvis is sick and he
let me, here,
ultimately, we'll get into later, he left
let
the team
me
to go back home. But
mention this too,
Hutchinson
because
comes into the game.
Hutch is also starting the game tonight.
Yeah. So this guy, remember, this is after the first period. Elvis played an entire period, which means from the start of the second until, let's see, let me make sure that I am getting the stat right here, because I want to make sure that from the start of the second period until the game was over in overtime, he faced 40 shots in 42 and a half minutes.
We know what,
that is almost a shot a minute.
We, as the hardcore fans that we are, know what Michael Hutchinson is capable of doing.
He is your third guy at best.
Yeah. He's over 30 at this point too.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
So, and we know that
March 2nd, 1990.
Yeah, so he's 32, and he's been a career backup to third string guy, and he's done well in that role. But he's also a guy that, like, he can't face that kind of shot load.
No,
right?
No, like he's not a backup. He's a third guy. Like if he's your backup, it's, you are starting your goaltender a lot more than you should.
Yeah.
You are going 2017 Cam Talbot mode, throwing him out there for 73 games. No offense to the guy,
he's also shut out the Islanders, and he's done, like, he's had brilliant games in his career.
Yeah, I mean, you play long enough in the NHL, you'll have those games. And I don't want to diminish. I mean, the guy was drafted in 2008. We're here in 2023 right now. He's still playing in the league. Yeah. He's made a decent amount of money in his career, so I don't want to diminish that. But
God, he was the same draft as Stamkos and Doughty?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Round. I mean, it's, when I think
Cam
of Stamkos
and whoa,
all those guys, I think of Michael Hutchinson.
Wow. I didn't realize he was that far back, though.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But yeah, that just makes me feel bad for Hutch because
I feel bad for the guy because this is almost an audition for the guy because he's been
Mhm.
primarily in the American League this year, which kind of expect, but
yeah,
uh,
this is
an
a way for
opportunity
him to
to again get another gig like that around the league, or maybe a team. If you play well enough in the American League over an
Mhm.
extended period of time and make a decent amount of starts in the NHL and put up decent numbers, like think about what just happened this past off season. A guy who started a ton of games in the American League and put up good numbers and had some decent success in the NHL got a 3-year deal from the Washington Capitals, and that was Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah.
So if you're Michael Hutchinson and you play well in the American League for a decent bit, and you say you go up with a team in the NHL and you start 7 or 8 games, but you put up like a 909, a 910, that might
Mhm.
that might get you like a legit deal, even
That
if
could
it's
get you a decent
1 year,
backup job.
1 million, something like that. Like that will give you a shot.
That
So
will,
I feel for the guy because this could be one of those auditions for him.
yeah, and I mean, like
He's
he's
on a
30.
shit team.
He's 32,
Yeah.
like we said. So he's coming up near the end time of his career
Mm-hmm.
for a goalie specifically. So it's like he is trying to prove that he can stick even in a backup role,
He
backup
just
or
turned
third role. Like
33 because he was
he did.
March
Okay.
2nd. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, like legitimately, like this is a guy who, in terms of professional hockey league in North America, what does he have left in him? Like maybe
Two,
two,
maybe
three.
three.
So, you want to get another chance to make money.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah. It's more for the paycheck at this point, but still like getting the chance to play.
The chance to play, the chance to make money. Like that's what I root for. Like you're a professional athlete. I want these guys to get paid. I want them to make their money.
Yeah.
So, I feel for him in that sense, but I just it was a frustrating game. Like I know we made jokes like, yeah, the Penguins tied it. Let's go Bedard. But you're lying to yourself if you weren't frustrated by that game. You're
No, it's
absolutely lying to yourself. If we had it into the third period up 4-1, if you're telling me you didn't want them to win that game, you're lying to me. I wanted to win that game.
huge bad taste in your mouth.
Absolutely. I
It's
think of all the losses we've had this season, this might be the worst of them.
That's the ugliest one for sure.
Uh,
Because like,
I don't
wow.
know. There's been a lot of ugly ones.
There's some ugly ones, yeah, but like that, I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of went to a game against the Devils in Newark where they lost 7-1, and then
Right, that
followed
was
it up with
ugly.
another game against the Devils where they lost in the last 2 seconds. So
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
had
that
some
was
bad
ugly.
losses this season, but in terms of like just what the game could have meant
Yeah.
and how it happened. Like you lose a game in the last couple seconds to a really good team like the Devils, that sucks. Or if you
Mhm.
get blown up by them on the road, that sucks. But like you're the team that you hate the most. I don't even know.
I mean, yeah,
Can
it's
we call them a rival? Like
we do for sure.
they don't call us a rival. They pity us. Like
But it's like for us, it's big because it's Pittsburgh.
yeah,
It's Ohio and Pittsburgh. Like think about that.
yeah. So it's
Like
just
think about it in a football sense. Think about it in a baseball sense. It's the same thing.
and I think there's a lot of frustration with Blue Jackets fans because there's an understanding. We're honest with ourselves. We understand that part of the issue with the Penguins is there's no fan base in Ohio that interferes with the Blue Jackets more than the Penguins
Right.
because around this area, being up in Cleveland, it's if there are hockey fans up here, it's majority, I'd say 70-75% of them are Blue Jackets fans. You maybe get a handful of Hawks or Red Wings, but the other big portion are Penguins.
Right.
And anytime you play the Penguins in Nationwide, what is it? If it's a sold out crowd and about 10,000 of those fans in there are Blue Jackets fans and like 8,000 are Penguins fans. And it's just
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
it's a decent 50-50 split.
you know. But like when it's like that, nobody notices 10,000 Blue Jackets fans, they notice the 8,000 Penguins fans.
Because they drown you out.
Yeah. So it's like there's an embarrassment there. It would have been nice for them to have won the game, and they didn't. Like it's I don't know what other way to describe it other than pure frustration from a fan perspective. And I can't imagine that the players are feeling any better about it either.
No, they can't be.
Because it's like, what do you like? You went out there and you had a 4-0 lead against the Penguins. That's some good positive things you should be able to take.
That has to be such a
that ends. Like, how can you take anything positive from that game? You just can't.
Even 4-1, like you leave the second period, you're still up by 3.
Yeah,
and it's like, what was even said in the locker room? I kind of want to know how that energy like shifted.
Because Pat, did you see what Patrick Laine said after the game? It's like we just lost momentum. It's like we're playing scared. Why are you playing scared?
Why are you playing scared against
nothing to play for? You don't have a playoff spot on the line here. You're not going out here trying to clinch something important to you. For the love of God, you've got nothing to worry about.
Put some pride in yourselves, guys.
I tell you, you go out there and you outshoot the Penguins 39-31, and you outshoot them a little bit in the third period. You're up 4-0. Michael Hutchinson lets in a couple softies. He's like, okay, but you didn't lose the game because of Michael Hutchinson. As a matter of fact, you got a point because he held you in it in the last 16 minutes after they tied the game.
Right.
You lost because you played scared. What are you playing scared for? You had nothing to play for. That is the time you should be the most aggressive.
That's when you say, okay, we don't have anything to play for on the big score sheet. We got to play for ourselves. We got to play for the pride here. We got to...
If you have nothing to play for, that's the freest you should play.
That's when you play for each other.
Yeah, for the love of God. That right there. You want any reason to fire Brad Larson? Forget about the record. Forget about some of the either the 2 losses to New Jersey or any of those other big losses. That right there, that quote right there, to tell you everything you need to know. Is this team's playing scared?
You're playing scared.
Okay, you give up a goal, now it's 4-2. You're still up by 2 goals. What do you mean you're playing scared?
Playing scared. Oh my God.
Good Lord. I don't know what more I understand they're probably just going to end the season with Brad Larson before they make a change.
Yeah.
You have to make a change. I've seen some speculation that they're not going to. I'm sorry. You're going to lose a good...
No, do it.
You're going to lose the fan base if you don't.
Do it. Like,
I don't know what more you need to see to come to that conclusion. What more needs to happen?
When you're young, flashy star, you're playing scared. And Patrick Laine is one of the most confident players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Arrogantly confident.
You would talk about playing free and playing loose. That's his whole career.
That's
his brand is playing loose. This is the frustrating thing about this is I hate the excuse of injuries. Yeah. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Because we talked about
that they've had a shit ton of injuries. You got a team in Arizona whose whole payroll, about 50% of it, is players who don't play anymore.
It's dead
For
contracts.
the love of God. That's a team that should be in last place. They're 10 points ahead of you.
We've talked about the injuries ad nauseum to the point where it's like we don't,
because it shouldn't be a factor.
No,
that's it. That's the end of the discussion. You're not bad because you have injuries. You're bad because you suck.
Playing scared. Yeah.
Arizona. Look, here are the teams that are ahead of you right now because you're in last place.
Yeah.
Arizona has 56 points.
Mm-hmm.
We have 47.
Yeah.
San Jose has 4 more points than you. That team traded Timo Meier at the deadline.
The Sharks, guys.
Sharks. The Blackhawks are openly tanking.
Yes,
Traded
like
away Patrick Kane and Max Domi.
outrageously.
Yes, they aren't hiding it, guys. They've traded for Peter Mrazek, and they signed Alex Stalock.
They're playing college goalies.
Yeah. Anaheim might be the worst defensive team I've ever seen in my life.
Even
the
with
defensive metrics on the Ducks are shocking.
And they're still bad. Like
They
trading
have
away
53
Klinger and Kulikov. You trade those guys out, and there's no difference. There's like
Jamie Drysdale got hurt before the season.
poor Jamie. I feel
You
so
want to talk
bad
about injuries.
Yeah,
He was supposed to be a key player for them this season. He got hurt. He hasn't played.
yeah, and we thought they were going to move Adam Henrique, right? Like that was another big target that people thought was going to move.
Mess in the National Hockey League. Actually, there's two.
Mm-hmm.
The top two biggest messes in the National Hockey League are the Philadelphia Flyers,
and we'll get to them,
and the Vancouver Canucks.
And we've talked about them.
Have
12
more points than you.
12 more, guys.
A dozen.
The Flyers are
that is
7th.
Equal to 6 wins more than you.
Division-wise, the Flyers are 7th out of 8. It's a 12-point gap.
I mean, it is just. I've run out of words for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't want to say the same shit over and over again, but it's just like, oh my God.
It's just pass it around, right? You pass the Dutchie and friggin'.
I think we've hammered the point enough. I think we should just move on to the next topic. But
yeah.
Just beyond frustrated. It was a bad loss, and there's just no way to justify it.
What's next on the schedule?
Should we just get into Chuck Fletcher?
Well, here, so today, as we're recording this tonight, whenever this goes up, they're hosting St. Louis.
Oh, I already bet on a Brandon Saad goal.
Oh yeah. They're in San Jose when we're shooting next on Tuesday. So that game won't even start until 10:30 at night. So we got our West.
Stay up until 10:30 if you want to watch Tank Bowl.
Yeah, we've got the West Coast swing coming up after we host St. Louis tonight. So that'll be fun. This week is going to be a late week for us if you plan on staying up for that.
I think the only game that's worth staying up for is staying up to watch LA and see Gavrikov and Corpy.
See Gavy and Corpy, yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
I mean, the other two games are just tank bowls. I don't have any interest in watching that.
I don't know. I kind of want to see Trevor Zegras.
My God, yeah, sure.
And maybe Gibby because he set a big Ducks mark, but that's kind of fun. Do but like other than that, it's just bad hockey can be fun hockey sometimes. Look at what's going. Yeah, but if you have the players to make it fun, but like we just haven't. So okay, really quick, Elvis.
We'll do this real quick.
So Elvis left the Pittsburgh game sick.
Yeah, he was sick, and then he recently went back home to Latvia.
He had like a stomach bug or something, right?
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Everybody was speculating that he was probably shitting his brains out.
Yeah, poor dude had the runs. And then he had to run back home to Latvia. I know, dude. I gotta do something to give it some levity. If we're not good at being like analysts, we're at least good at making bad puns, Jay. Come on, we got to be good at something.
Are we really good at making bad puns, or are we really bad at making good puns?
Yes.
Yeah, so Elvis went home. It's a family matter, I believe.
Yes, his grandmother is sick.
Okay. So I hope he takes his time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, Elvis, don't be in any rush. It's not like anything important is waiting back here with this season. So We
Yeah.
recalled Daniil, but I imagine Hutch is going to get some starts here because I don't think they want to.
Right. Yeah. Hutch
Um,
should probably get the majority, and then Daniil might get a couple. It's nice to see Daniil back. Like that was
yeah,
actually makes me
yeah.
feel good because like that was when we had hope, when we had wins,
I mean, Daniil gives hope for next season as far as the Nets
and
concerned.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
but,
yeah,
but best of luck to Elvis. This has been a really, really tough past couple of years for him. So,
wishing Mersley the best. Like, and I think as a fan base, we rallied around him behind the Matisse tragedy.
mhm.
We're wishing him well with his grandmother.
Yeah,
But on the flip side of that, we still need to treat the guy better.
no doubt about it. I think I've talked about this before, and I'm not excluding myself from it because I think we're all kind of guilty of it.
Yeah.
Uh, just treating athletes in general better and caring more about their mental health because
As people,
like
because they're
like
people.
because it recently came out talking about Greg Oden,
Mhm.
and I put it on my Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but
No, I
Greg
didn't get
Oden
to see
is
it.
called by a lot of people one of the bigger busts in NBA history.
Mhm.
When the reality is he wasn't really a bust. He could play, but 7-foot guy, number one overall draft pick, had a bunch of injuries. Like, what are you
So,
supposed to do?
yeah, and like that really weighs on you too to be a number one overall pick and that big and like all these expectations on you.
Because let me tell you, like being a number one pick is big in any sport. There's no out of all four major sports, though, there's no more pressure than in the NBA as a number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were like number one overall pick in the NBA is game changer level.
Yeah.
And basketball is a sport where you just need game changers.
Yes.
And two things factor into this. So he was talking about how his mental health was kind of deteriorating and how he would stay in his house kind of weeks at a time because he just didn't want to go out because he was kind of being mistreated. It's two things. One, he was the number one draft pick. There's a whole bunch of expectations. But two was the guy who got selected behind him was Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
So like
Mm.
if the second overall pick, it doesn't even have to be a bad player, even if it's just like a solid player for 15 years. I said like if it was just Mike Conley, who's had a solid career, like that's not as bad. But the fact that it was Kevin Durant,
Yeah,
that's
that's a
what piled on top of it. And it was just a reminder to me that you can analyze athletes and be honest about them without mistreating them.
yes.
And I think there's a point to be said that you can understand and be frustrated by Elvis Merzlikins this year having a 410 goals against average and an 880 save percentage while also understanding that he's a person
You need to be compassionate about the person, yes.
and there's a way to go about it. You can say the guy's struggling, he hasn't been playing very well.
It's been bad for everybody, you could say that.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to just pile it on him. And really like back when they even like when his wife got involved and was posting stories for calling people out.
Yeah.
Like even that, you guys are really gonna go that far?
Yeah, it's an ugliness that kind of permeates with I think every fan base. It's not like the Blue Jackets fans aren't alone in this. Like it's every fan base.
It's so yeah, and we just need to be better about that. Like I'm not saying give them all the sunshines and rainbows. Criticism is criticism for athletes. Like that's just how
Important.
that
Like
is.
you have to be able to analyze them. We can't be nice about everybody.
No.
Um, I'm very critical of say Liam Foodie.
Yeah.
Are there times I could have maybe said things better? Yeah, I'll admit that. I'm
Mhm.
trying to be better about that. But I have to be able to analyze a guy who's got 3 NHL goals to his name in about 70 games. So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes with role and that comes with pressure. And it's like, Elvis is he's your starter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for better or for worse, he's your starter. He's got the term. He's got the money. Hopefully some healthy competition from Daniil next season
mhm.
and a full off season just to reset. Maybe, hopefully, a whole staff overload with coaches will be good for him. But first, it has to happen, so we'll have to see about that. But
And he's got to be able to.
regardless, I'm wishing him luck.
He
I
needs
hope
to
that him and
relax.
Andy are okay.
Yeah, I hope they're okay, and he needs to relax.
Because I read an article about him where he was relaxing quite a bit from All-Star break, and I just read some quotes from him that just made me like want to hug him. Where he's like, yeah, I took the time to relax to myself. He's like, I don't think I've deserved it for how I've played this year, but my wife deserved it. And I'm just like, this poor guy. Like,
Oh,
I feel
Elvis.
bad for
Oh,
this
buddy.
guy. Like, I gotta say, like, there's been a lot of athletes in my life who I want to see have success. Like, I
Mhm.
always wanted to see Mitch Trubisky succeed as the Bears quarterback. It didn't happen, but it's okay. We have Justin Fields now,
Yeah.
who I care more about succeeding. But Elvis is near the top of like guys who are just. He's really nice. He's got a great personality.
I want to meet him
He's
so
had
bad.
this horrible thing that's happened to him. I want to see him just get it together and have that success.
I want to meet him and
Yeah.
just like, God, please.
So I'm rooting for him. But should we get
Absolutely.
into
Yeah. So best of luck to Elvis. I hope he's gonna be okay. And when he comes back, whenever that is, that the guys rally for him. And now we're gonna move on to our friends in Philly.
Yeah.
Shout outs to our buddy Kevin.
Buddy Kevin, my one buddy Drew. Has it's been a fun past couple 48 hours for him.
Yeah, it has.
I've actually got a pretty decent amount of friends who are Flyers fans. I'm both happy for them that this happened, but also sad that it happened in the first place.
Yeah, and like Ash on Discord and a few other Flyers fans that I know from there. That I don't know, they're kind of few and far between in there, but like they're vocal. And so basically Chuck Fletcher is out, Danny Briere is in.
So this is Comcast, the owners of the Flyers, trying to be as smart as possible about this. Flyers fans were obviously pissed about the deadline. They've been pissed for a while with this GM and this front office. I don't think Danny Briere is the next Flyers general manager.
He's
the
interim right now, yes.
The reason I say that is because I look at, interim GMs from the past. You have to look at when they kind of take over. So if you look at, I think the most recent kind of example with that would be Kyle Davidson with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
He took over on October 26th of 2021. And what that meant was he had a season and a deadline in him. By the time the draft rolled around, they removed the interim tag from him.
But that was also like
to see like this is how he's going to go through things. It was kind of like a trial. Like, okay, we like what we see. We're going to move forward with him. You don't get to see that with Danny Briere. He's not going to get a deadline. There's no moves that he can make. Chances are they're going to bring in a new GM and a whole new front office by the time that the draft is going to be rolling around.
Yeah, the thing with that too, like comparing it to Kyle Davidson, is there were circumstances around bringing in Davidson.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like there obviously it's kind of like a tough balance because obviously the headliner in all of that was the stuff with Kyle Beach, but
I think a better comparison might be Kevin Adams.
Yeah, Kevin Adams too. Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't
disagree with that.
He didn't have a scandal surrounding him, so
the only reason I say Kyle Davidson though is because Stan Bowman was on thin ice anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
because the team was bad and he had made some questionable moves.
Right, and Fletch was
that's
on
the reason
thin
I feel
ice.
comfortable
Yeah,
making
that's
that
fair.
comparison. But
That's fair.
it's less about the circumstance. It's more so just about the timing of it.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Davidson had the opportunity to be a GM for a majority of a season and go through the process of a trade deadline and all that stuff, that's when the Blackhawks, they had a decent amount to be able to say, we're removing the interim tag. You're a GM moving forward.
Right.
Danny Briere is beloved Philadelphia Flyer. He played
absolutely.
for them for a while. He had a lot of success there. Fans love him.
Cup run.
He was in the front office. I think his title was special assistant to the GM.
Yes, he's doing what Spets is doing with Dewis.
Right. So I don't think that they wanted to include Danny Briere into the firing of the people that they took out of front office because he hasn't done anything wrong, and that probably would have pissed people off. So we're going to fire the GM and some other people. We're going to let Danny Briere just act as GM for the rest of the year. He's not going to have any big things to do, and they're going to find a replacement in the summer. But this had to happen, and not just now. Should have happened quite a while ago.
Should have happened months ago. And
I would argue that it should have happened before the season.
Here's the funny thing. So like we've talked at length more or less, and I was just running over a video of Fletcher's moves recently. And it dates back to his time in Minnesota.
He was terrible with the Wild.
It's like,
but he had the ability to sign two players to ridiculous contracts because the current rules weren't in place. So bringing in Ryan Suter and Zach Parise at the same time in their prime, made Minnesota a much better team. They had already had good prospects from before.
They thought that was going to work. It was great. Like it looked on the surface, it looked awesome at the time.
And it's like you look at it and you're like, oh, they made the playoffs 6 times in nine years when he was GM there. But it's like, well, they already had guys there. He is not responsible for Mikko Koivu. He had the freedom as far as financially was concerned to go out and get Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, which were a package deal. Gabrick wasn't even there. He was a Ranger.
Was he gone already?
Yeah, he was already gone. So like, how much do you do you want to give him credit for Nicholas Backstrom, who was already there? No.
Backstrom, the goalie.
Yeah, the goalie. I think most fans who are listening to this probably know that.
I would hope so, but that's the funny thing. There's a forward and there's a goalie.
Yeah. Do we give him credit for Jared Spurgeon? Like,
speaking of Spurge, you want to bring that up?
We'll bring it up after the segment. Like,
okay.
You look at it. How many Western Conference Finals did the Wild get in those 6 playoff appearances? None. They had no playoff success.
They had nothing until Kirill came in, really.
Well, what have the Wild done in these last few years, even with Kirill?
Not too much, but like
Kirill's fun, and the current Wild are exciting, and I think that they've got the pieces to be able to do things, but really the Wild in the last decade plus have been a lot of just we're making the playoffs and we're either a one and done or we'll be in the second round. Right. So like Chuck Fletcher's success in Minnesota is very misleading. Very misleading.
And then he goes to Philly. And
he disaster from the second he arrived.
It was just Tony DeAngelo, Rasmus Ristolainen. You couldn't bet on Ryan Ellis. I guess you could.
Oh my God, he traded he traded essentially nothing for Ryan Ellis and lost.
Poor Ryan Ellis, man. God.
I mean, good God. It's all been a mess. He extends Travis Sanheim, and Sanheim just falls off a cliff. It's funny. The best extension he has signed since becoming GM of the Flyers is definitely the Carter Hart extension.
Yes, because Carter's been fantastic.
But what is the second best extension he has signed?
I don't know.
Is it Risto? Risto's actually been good this season.
Well,
but
he's not $5 million good.
he's like how he's played this season. He's probably 4 to 4.5 good. Like,
But then you
but
also
you
have like
extended. But here's the thing: like he's improved, but you extended him when he was nowhere close to 5 million.
right, and then you
That's
have
like,
the Provorov experiment where it's like
oh,
he only improved because of Matt Niskanen for a year, and then Niski retires.
and he's been pretty bad since. And then, speaking of Provorov,
The whole Pride Night
uh,
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
so there's a report that said that Comcast was reportedly not happy about that, and that is a factor into firing him. Not entirely sure I believe that,
I
because I
mean,
feel like there would have been ramifications kind of immediately about that. I think it's kind of just a convenient added excuse to
probably,
have
but still, like
positive PR for Comcast.
when this is going on, and like when Provorov started a thing that's spreading to other teams,
Yeah, that's
and
been a
that's
National Hockey League issue
is
now.
just making it super ugly.
I'm sorry, like I know that they were informed at the last second. If this was as big of a deal as Comcast is trying to suggest that it was to them, you could have suspended the player.
Yeah.
Legitimately. They could have filed a grievance with the NHL because according to the contracts, like that is a part of the deal.
You're supposed to participate in these things.
So if that was a legitimate thing, they could have legally fought that.
Yeah.
Against the player. And I don't know what that would have looked like, but that was an option that could have been on the table.
Tony D happens. You don't trade JVR at the deadline. The deadline
okay, and not only
is
do
like
you get Tony D, you're like, okay, look, I'm not a Zach McEwen guy. Like, bottom, he's a fourth liner who
he's
but
he's like your
you
15th
really had to
forward.
trade for Brendan Lemieux that bad?
Uh,
Really?
mm,
Or were you just trading for Tony D'Angelo's buddy? Because Tony D'Angelo's
oh
been
yeah,
so fantastic for you.
yeah. I think meh.
I mean, it's just a mess there in Philly. I'm glad that they did this. I'm glad that they fired him, but I mean, it to me, Chuck Fletcher is a symptom.
There's more chances for Brendan to take a bite out of some people now. And it'd probably
Yeah.
be more accepted in Philly than it was with LA. Like,
I wonder where the Flyers go from here. I understand that Flyers fans are happy. I think they're rightfully happy about this, but at the same time, like I said, Chuck Fletcher's a symptom of the problem. He wasn't
yeah,
necessarily the problem. The problem is Comcast as majority. Well, I think they're 100% owners now.
yes.
So like,
I would say yes.
oh God, like that. It's a tough spot to be
Because
in.
I want to say that Bobby Clark, his stake is at the very least like extremely minimal if he's got one anymore.
Well, let's hope for his sake that that steak is medium rare.
Yeah, I'm a medium guy.
Wow.
Like I like mine just a little bit more cooked, little bit redder.
Chicken. Fried chicken.
Dark meat.
Why do all of your opinions suck?
Oh, shut up.
All right, what do we have last?
Well, we needed to make these little quick mentions too because these were kind of fun. The one thing about the three members of the 2000 Sabres all being general managers now.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. You know,
Fun little
Daniel
tidbit.
Briere's interim GM, Chris Drury, and Mike Grier, which is all pretty cool, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat. And then
And then
our boy Spurge. Like, come
yeah.
on, we gotta talk about Spurgeon now because we stand Jared Spurgeon on this show now.
So
Apparently,
this is this was posted by Dom Lecision for the Norris conversation. Now this isn't like a rankings list of who he would put up for Norris, but this is just looking at a whole bunch of different stats and putting them together for goal saved versus average. Like most effective defensemen in the NHL. Adam Fox is 1, Lindholm is 2. Brent Burns 3. That's pretty cool.
Look at Burnsy go, huh? Turn back.
That's pretty
block.
awesome.
That's
Love that for
great.
Brent Burns. EK65 is 4.
Wow, Burnsy's doing better than EK.
Rasmus Dahlin at 5.
Yay, Rasmus.
Dougie Hamilton at 6. Roman Yossi at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Cale Makar at 8.
Number 8 at number 8. I'll take that.
Jared Spurgeon at 9.
God, I love Jared Spurgeon. It's like, and this isn't even like a turn on a dime type thing, right?
No, he's been fantastic forever. It's just we've
It's
realized
just-
that we don't talk enough about him, and people don't talk enough about him, so we're
we
making
just
that effort.
Yeah, we just realized that nobody ever really talks about him. So it's just like
never I never hear his name ever.
no,
Nobody talks
exactly.
about him. Minnesota fans don't even talk about him.
No, he's your captain, guys.
I mean,
How do you not talk about your captain?
yeah, he's been so good for so long, but like so
He's
not noticed, so
such-
overshadowed that we just
Oh
forget.
my
like,
God.
no, he is legitimately one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like how there's so many great defensemen in the NHL. And I think the reason why part of it is he's a little bit on the older side because we talk about so many of the young guys. We talk about
Nice.
Dahlin, we talk about Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar.
Yeah,
We
no doubt
talk about
it.
so many of those guys
Mo
because they're
Seider
young,
has
and Mo Seider, yeah.
been someone we talked about a ton. Yeah.
Z,
It's and like it's cool. Like Charlie McAvoy.
Charlie, yep.
So, yeah, I agree with you. Like, there's been so many good defensemen that we've tried to give kudos to. We, as in not just you and me, but hockey fans in general.
Yes.
Um,
And it's more
Yeah,
just
like, it's
because
just-
they're the younger crowd in the decor, right? Like
Yeah.
the veterans get like just kind of pushed aside, and
well, in the last 2 years, we've heard more and more people have talked about Thomas Shabbat. More people have talked about. Oh, I just had his name up in Winnipeg.
Morrissey,
Morrissey, yeah, Josh Morrissey's been fantastic this last year. He's improved a ton.
Josh Norrisey. That's not mine. That's not mine. That's just the thing people have been saying.
I just, yeah. No, I love what I've seen from Jared Spurgeon for years.
love Spurge.
Also from a smaller guy.
Oh yeah, because isn't he? He's like
He's
barely
5'9".
6 foot, right?
I think he's smaller than that.
What?
I think he's smaller than that, yeah.
What's he? Where is he listed?
Let me see. Jared Spurgeon, height 5'9".
Oh my god,
Yeah. Short king.
he's Johnny's height.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's so good. I love
Yeah.
that. So,
there's
yeah.
Jared Spurgeon, and then
Huge
the
shout outs
last,
to Spurge. And then
well,
the
we
last
just mentioned Thomas Shabbat, and we were talking
Yeah.
earlier about Jacob Chikrin. So let's get
yeah,
into-
so the Sens, the bids are coming still, and we know for a fact that Ryan Reynolds is going to be a part of that, which is huge for the PR standpoint, right?
so cool.
It's just the best, right? So thankfully Ryan's going to be a part of that. Like he's been scouting out other games and checking out games when he has the time, because I mean he's Ryan Reynolds. When does he ever have time?
Yeah. But you said over 900 million.
Yeah, at this point in the bidding, they are surpassing $900 million worth of bids.
They can get up to $1 billion. That's big.
That's huge. And so far, Ryan's group is the top bidder,
Yeah,
as it should be.
that's awesome. That makes me happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hope
And-
they get sold soon so they can have a fresh ownership group in there to go in and run things that the way that it needs to be run.
I think really like Dorian's doing fine now that he's able to do his job. Like he's a great general manager for him.
I think we've kind of been wrong all along about Pierre Dorian because I think he's been really handicapped by meddlesome ownership
Mm-hmm.
that limited funds financially,
Yeah.
tried to cut corners. And I think now that he has all that to his disposal, he doesn't have anybody breathing down his neck. He can operate things the way that he wants to. I think we've seen that he's actually pretty good at this. He's really good at scouting. He's good at drafting. And turns out he's really good at making deals with teams that are trying to get rid of young players who are stars. You know, he got Wicket for a pretty good deal. He got Chickard for a really good deal. Yeah, no, I've been very impressed with Pierre Dorian.
He's been great. And here's hoping that whoever ends up buying the Sens, we know that they're going to move them to a better position. The LeBreton deal is probably going to get done. Like,
and that's big for Sens fans because it's more convenient to get to. It's a nicer place.
Yes, progress is going to be made.
Yeah.
Like just
it's
off ice.
Time for Sens fans right now, and that makes me very happy for them. They deserve it.
I've got plenty of those. Like they are the most vocal in the SDPN Discord. Shout outs to my friends Pie and Milkbag and Papa Scruff and all these guys. Like I know screen names are funny. I know
screen names on Discord are always hilarious.
Yeah, they're so much fun. But yeah, shout outs to all of my Ottawa peeps on Discord, and we're happy for you guys with this, and we can't wait for the Deadpool Sens to be a thing. Hopefully they are. So the last like quick little wrap up. This is only going to take a couple of minutes. I want to rapid fire on some stats leaders since we only have a quarter of the season left.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So this is a couple of fun, obscure ones to start. Face-off win percentage. You're gonna be surprised.
Really you're doing face-off win percentage. Be serious, Jake.
I am. It's kind of fun to look at this because it just like my eyes bugged out for a second. Michael McLeod is third, dude. 60.303%. Patrice Bergeron a 60%, and then Jonathan Taves a 63%. The time on ice per game is fun. Obviously, it's all defensemen.
Yeah.
Rasmus Dahlin is third, 25.42 per game. Drew Doughty is 26.20 per game, and Cale Makar is 26.41 per game. Shorthanded goals, there's like everybody's tied at 4.
Okay.
Everybody's tied at 4. It's Pettersson, it's Horvat, it's Lafferty, it's Kreider, it's Riley Smith. They all have 4 shorthanded goals this year. The power play goals, oh my God, what a description. Leon.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
2 players are tied with 18, and that's your boy Tage.
Oh, he's money.
And Connor McDavid. He's tied with Connor McDavid. He's tied with Connor McDavid. Mika Zibanejad has 19, and then Leon Draisaitl has 26 power play goals.
Oh my God.
26.
Jesus Christ.
What?
That's ridiculous.
I mean, when you're getting dishes from Connor, it's like, what?
That is so stupid.
It's amazing. Plus minus is kind of fun. I know we talk about how flawed of a stat it is, but it's kind of fun. Matt Grzelcyk is a plus 34.
It is ridiculous with how good the Bruins are that like they're not like all like plus 70 right now.
Yeah, exactly, right? Matt Grzelcyk a plus 34. Thomas Tatar is a plus 37.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's nice. That's good on Thomas, man.
He's had a fantastic year. He's going to get a decent contract this summer.
Hope so. And then Hampus Lindholm leads with a plus 40.
Yeah.
I mean, this might
be the best year of his career.
Brilliant.
He had some good years in Anaheim.
It's brilliant. Assist leaders. Carlson is third. EK65 has 63.
Yeah. Connor.
Nikita Kucherov is second with 68.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Connor
leads with 70.
Yeah.
It's funny because I look at this 70 and I'm like, he finished like his rookie season or his sophomore season with 100 points even and 70 assists.
Yeah.
He still has like 20 games left. And he's already hit that mark.
Let's get into goals. Connor.
Yeah. Two players are tied at third with 42 goals. That's Mikko Rantanen and Tage Thompson. Yeah. Yeah. Look at him tied with Moose. I love that. That's great. By the way, Leon and Braden Point are right behind them with 41.
Yeah.
So
Braden Point has had a very quietly great year.
Yeah. I mean, that's also just because he's Braden Point and it's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, but like he's like this is one of the best years of his entire career.
And we've barely talked about it because the Lightning have been up and down, and who cares? They'll be fine.
Exactly.
Like they will be absolutely fine. Pasta is number 2 with 45. Yeah. I don't know how he's still sitting at only 45.
Yeah. And number 1, Connor
McDavid, take Pasta's number and swap it.
Yeah.
54 goals.
I was going to make a joke and say 88. You switch the 8 and the 8 and you get 88.
Yeah, you do. 54 goals and 70 assists. He's at 124 points, and he's got 20 games left, give or take. Like what? What's that pace now? What is that pace now? He's got 124 points in how many games?
I don't know.
How many games has he played? Oh, shoot. I just closed out of the app and now I'm like, great. Now I don't know. He has played in, please. Wait. I hate that I'm taking so much time like this.
Good Lord.
Okay, 66.
Figure it out.
66.
Projected, he will finish with 154 points in 82 games.
That is
He's on pace for 67 goals.
He's on pace for 67 goals and the best season, surpassing Steve Yzerman by a point.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best season since Steve Yzerman in the 90s, guys.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's insanity. I don't understand how people argue about him, like, not being the best player in the NHL. Like, how is it not unanimous for people? I don't understand how it's not unanimous for people. Yeah. He's just a monster.
Like he's in a tier of his own.
Yes. It's Connor McDavid and tier 2. No, Connor McDavid in tier 1. Like, that's how it is. Yeah. And friggin' I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I'm out of words, and we got a
guy named Connor. That's what it is.
McDavid,
if he were Jack McDavid, he'd be like a solid 70-point guy.
Yeah, yeah, he would.
I think that was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. Kept it pretty short. Yes, we did, and we will get y'all. We'll see you next week, and we'll get the episode 100 stuff out to you this coming week as well. We'll get your questions answered. Love y'all.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at By J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.